At this time, I'd like to call to order the March 9th, 2022 East Long Meadow Conservation Commission meeting. We'll take attendance first. Myself, William Marmont, Nicholas Turford, Anthony Giovacchini, Elizabeth Stoughton, and Michael Carabetta. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the February 23rd, 2022 conservation meeting. Everyone had a chance to look them over. Losing my words. To approve the meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second on the agenda, public hearings. Elizabeth.
Case NLI 2022-1, notice of intent for 43 South Bend Lane, assessors parcel ID 54-6-0. The construction of a 23 lot residential subdivision subject to the Wetlands Protection Act. Applicant Marlene Goldstein, 35 South Bend Lane, East Mass 01028.
Assume you're gonna do a presentation, sir.
Sure. Good evening, folks. For the record, I'm Ron Beck. I'm Ron Beck Associates. For the two Marlene Goldstein, Goldstein family. Owners. And Carl Perella, our real estate broker, who will be working on this project for them. We're here tonight to present our plans for a proposed subdivision off of South Bend Lane. The proposed subdivision includes 23 lots with 2 roadways. We've designed the proposed project to meet all of the subdivision standards. I think we have some minor waivers that will be going forward specific to sidewalks and some other things. Generally speaking, a by right subdivision that's being proposed. South Bend Lane is here. This is we propose, I believe, Happy Acres Lane, and that's proposed for Farmers Way. So Happy Acres and Farmers Way. I'm showing you the grading plan. You can see sheet C3. So a little bit of background. Heather Comey from Pioneer Environmental. Now, I believe. Heather and Pete both delineated the wetlands out here. Heather submitted, I believe, an ANRAD was issued, an ORAD was issued, Water Resource Area Delineation, which determined the wetland boundaries within the vicinity of the project for a period of 3 years. Those are still valid. So what you see on our plan are a series of bordering vegetated wetlands in different areas. We focus our development, generally speaking, out of that. All of our roadways and the majority of our lots are outside of the conservation jurisdiction. However, we do have 2 stormwater areas in jurisdiction. We have one here outside. Just so everybody knows, my plan is right north. Again, this is South Bend Lane. We have a stormwater basin here and a stormwater basin here. The area that's being developed is a portion of an overall piece, which has a significant amount of wetlands to the south. And there's a neighborhood just off here. Meadow. And this area here has been designated as a stormwater parcel. This includes a border vegetated wetland. We're able to design to DEP standards that came out in 2008. Those standards are the ones that we've been working on for all these other projects and you guys are familiar with. We have to match pre and post development runoff flows. We have to go through the water quality calculations to make sure that all of our water quality meets the total suspended solids removal requirements. We've done that through a series of catch basins, conveyance pipes, proprietary water quality units, and then 7 floor bays with each of the basins. We have a stormwater report that accompanies this. It's pretty extensive. I can answer any of the general details regarding information regarding the stormwater, but roadways out meets the subdivision standard. We show what I'll call building footprints. These are not exactly what we think will be built. We don't know what people will be building, but speculation is that we'll have to meet the front setbacks, side setbacks. So we show a building footprint here. We're also showing that some of these lots are being raised. There is seasonal high groundwater out there. So we're aware of that. We're trying to design the finished floors. We're showing actually top of wall elevations. Mr. Carabetta and rest of you folks that deal with some of this construction stuff will understand what I'm saying, and that, there's the top of wall is being set high enough ideally so that we can get these as far out of groundwater as possible. The site is generally flat, so we'll be bringing in some material we anticipate to handle what we do here. But again, no wetlands pretty much throughout this entire area where the roadway is. There's a bordering vegetated wetland off to the east here. There's another big one here to the south. And then there's a stream and some wetland riverfront area here. So again, you'll see all of our grading for the houses. Stormwater basins are closer to the wetlands as you would expect, but everything else generally out. We will likely, just so the commission knows, on any lots that would require the filing of notice of intent because of their proximity with the wetlands, we would file a separate, we would have the owner, developer, builder, whoever it is at that time, file separate notices of intent. Those notices would be filed so that there's a separate order of conditions, so it doesn't get all dumped up with the roadway or the stormwater drainage, so it's separate, and that each individual builder can have it. So with that, I would be happy to hand it back to the chair, and then answer any questions you folks have through the chair, or any questions for the question.
So, question on the last, you said you're trying to get the foundations up out of the ground. So, do you have any idea how much fill you're going to be bringing in to try to establish that?
I can get a general number. I don't have that in my squash. I could get that. I could have John T. who worked on the design in the office. We have a cut and fill program we can use. So I can get you that. It's fairly significant. We're bringing the grade up. So just to give you some perspective, existing grade on lot 15. You look at lot 15.
I saw that.
It's coming up about 5 feet. So it'll be fairly substantial.
Okay. And where's the water table now in relationship to the?
Okay, so it was pretty shallow. It was 3 feet. Is that what it was? Yeah. So our stormwater basins have to have a minimum of 2 foot separation. So depending on where we were, we have to be above seasonal high groundwater by a minimum of 2 feet from the DEP standard. Throughout the site, it varies, but generally speaking, it's pretty shallow. So we're trying to bring them up as much as possible. Waterproofing, other things. So important. That's okay.
You talked about a couple of waivers. You got to try to narrow or roll.
I gotta remind myself whether we went for that or not. If they'll give it to us, we'll take it.
I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah,
Because obviously that will lessen the impact on everything.
yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if we're at. What do they let you go to 22?
I didn't see it. That's why I was asking.
Yeah. Good question. I can confirm it. I'm pretty sure it's either the standard or just on. I don't know that we asked for the waiver. Or I'll check. But we would be willing to do that. Makes sense. Save a little money in asphalt.
Yeah, no, I'm just like I said, I'm kind of curious in anything.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be back overall.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Safety will probably trump all this.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they've been giving the waiver.
They have.
Yeah. So maybe we've already asked for it, but okay.
You said each house is going to go for its own those tendency is to we're in that 100-foot buffer and 200-foot buffer.
Yeah,
A lot of locations.
Yeah, what we're looking at is lots. We would anticipate, and I can't say it's for sure, but we anticipate that DEP is going to want us to stay out of the 200-foot riverfront area, try to push you out, be out. So chances are these footprints will be out of the riverfront, but the rest of them that do have buffers on impacts will certainly be required to file, unless the commission at the time determines that an RDA is satisfactory. We would anticipate that a notice would be filed, for each of the lots independently.
Yeah, so it's actually like 10 through 18 feet buffer zones.
Yeah, you're probably looking at
There's a 100-foot buffer goes starts in lot 10, runs through the house proposed lot 13, through the house lot 14, through where you're proposing the house actually is.
Yep.
And then the riverfront, 200 foot is on the back door of 18.
Yeah, I think 10 gets away without a notice. I think maybe 11 would need one, maybe not.
Yeah, 10 is
12 is probably okay. 13 for sure would need one. 14, 15 likely, depending on how much backyard they have. Yeah,
right.
varies a lot.
Tree.
If you look at that silk fence line, that's what we anticipate for backyards, but it's not to say somebody wouldn't try to push a little bit closer. If they
Right,
can.
and that silt fence line is already inside the buffer. But 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
For information through the chair, we did receive a DEP file number. Pretty basic comments for project to this side before. There's a comment regarding the tributary to Watchdog Brook being cold water fishery. So essentially it's a water quality item, just kind of informational. We do have the DEP standards met. We would be required to file a stormwater pollution prevention plan for the project over an acre of land. So we will file that. That's a construction phase permit in addition to all of the other conditions. We have a question about the methodology for the wetland location, but as the commission's aware, the wetland line was already determined to be ORAD, which Heather had provided that information. I think DEP probably just didn't know that. I know there's been some changes at the Western Regional Office. They talked about construction phasing. Maybe we could just talk briefly about that. So I believe that we're planning on doing this in 2 phases at this point. And are you anticipating whether phase 1 would be this or phase 1 would be all the way here? Do you know that at this point, Charlie? I believe it's going to be Happy Acres first. Okay, so this would be phase 1, phase 2 being farmer. Okay, so that's that. And then we would, if you wanted a condition or if there's some sort of review associated with that, they want to have to do that. And then they just said that, comment that we point out the site consultant have that first.
A lot of my concerns lie in the elevation. It's a lot. I mean, 7 and 8 feet up, close to buffer zones to try and create and 3 to 1 pitch is going to be steep.
Like, so you have a cut-and-fill plan that shows some of that, some of the gradients.
Yeah, we do. And to Will's point, good point. Anywhere where we're bringing the roadway up, if you look at the contours on the in between the houses, I believe we're at a 4-to-1 slope, but we could go even more gradual. But we do have that room to do that. That said, we would kind of anticipate either English basements, so-called partial walkouts, or a full walkout when available, so that we're not grading in the backyards any more than we need to. So basically, the backyards are at grade, front yards are built up. Partial walkouts, ideally, egress windows in the basement, that type of thing. So fill up by the road, certainly need to contain that, but we would anticipate that that's going to be at the front of the lots, in the backyard of the lots. We would be more than probably be logical. Take a look. We could probably stake center line for you. Walk it quick, just kind of understand what it looks like. It is pretty flat out. It feels flat. I mean, it's not flat, but it's pretty close. It feels flat. When you walk it, it'll feel pretty flat. And you'll see that you shouldn't have any trouble containing any material that's brought in just because of the slope. So I think silt fence would do it. Probably wouldn't even need a double barrier permission for that.
First of all, I get the walker's property.
Yeah.
I would like this. Inside the private. House members walk it probably a little bit.
And they did walk it at a time. I can see, is there a lot of vegetation?
No, yeah.
Not too bad. So maybe it's a good time to walk it. We could stay center line for you.
I think if we could do that, and then we can maybe see these grades a little better when we're standing there with the stake center line.
Yep. If you want, I'll see if they can, while they're staking it, we'll put a fill number on.
Yeah, even if you did even if you did like, 7 foot
Yeah.
up, at least it gives us an idea when we're standing there all, standing there, it's above your head a foot. Right. That's where all my concern all comes in, whatever this side is, the 9 through 18 is where all my concern.
Totally understandable. Makes sense. I think when you see it, it'll kind of. Is there a time that will work for the commission? A day and time within the next? Presume it's 2 weeks. So I think you got the next.
So we get you on the next meeting, if that worked.
That would be great.
I'll just,
Yeah.
talk and start real quick, so.
Sunday and no Saturdays.
So this weekend, could we do? April 13th?
Yeah, there's an extra week in March.
What about the 23rd?
Oh, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's
There's
nice
a
and
week
So this weekend I couldn't, and I know that it's a pain in the butt, but the weekend of the 19th and 20th I could, if it was easier. Because I'm afraid within an hour, I walked the site the first time. It's an extensive site, and I believe we spent several hours walking it last time. Right, in a snowstorm. I believe it was about this weather. Is there any chance we could do it not this weekend, the following weekend? Does anyone? That works with me if it works for anyone else. Yeah, the 19th.
Oh, wait a minute, I can do Sunday. I'm fine.
It doesn't matter to me. So it's that Saturday or Sunday. Does anyone have a preference?
I go Saturday, Sunday.
I'm good with Saturday.
Morning.
Yeah.
I'll be flying back into town on Friday night, so
The what?
I'll be back in Friday night.
So do we want to do the 19th that, I'm up early, so you don't want to.
My.
Okay.
I don't need to get
Well, I'll pick you up. I'll sign you out. Do we want to do 8 a.m., 10 a.m.? 8?
Yeah, we're all.
8? All right, let's do Saturday the 19th at 8 a.m.
That'd be great. It gives us time to lay it out for you guys.
That'd be perfect. So we'll table this until then, so I'll make a motion to. Oh, is there people here? Sorry. So
Just open the public hearing. No.
do we have anyone here from the public who would like to speak? Come on up, Mr. Jernstrom.
Hi, Greg Jernstrom, 49 Weber Street, Springfield. Previous member of the commission.
You're invisible right there.
Oh, okay. I was on the commission when we went out and did the previous delineation. We did it a couple of trips out there.
Yeah.
But my first question I did in the submitted plan here, what are you proposing for intrusions into the buffer zone and for your limited work line? When you're proposing a 50 foot, 25 foot, 75 foot?
So that's a good question. What we should probably do is further define what we're planning for this notice of intent, because we are showing a limit of work that's kind of associated with some of the lots. So I think what we could do prior to the next meeting is kind of delineate the stormwater areas and the roadway, and then any disturbance beyond that would be part of an individual notice of intent. So I guess the short answer is the tree line that we're showing here. There's a couple areas that were a little bit closer, so it varies. But I could get some dimensions on the plan kind of for the next time so that they kind of see what we're thinking. But these are just anticipated limits of work for the tree line. Now, obviously, they would be subject to review. So I guess what I would probably say is for the road, for this NOI is really for the roadway and stormwater.
Right.
So what I would probably do is limit the disturbance on this NOI to around the roadway, what we need to fill, and then have separate NOIs beyond that. So it's like that. That makes sense.
would the basin be included in this
Yes,
NOI or no?
absolutely, because it's part of the roadway infrastructure,
Right.
and yeah, so we would want to make sure that the basins, and the roadway were all approved under an order of conditions. And then we'd have a separate order for, lots, call it about 9.
Because the basins look very close
They are, yeah,
to the,
Yeah.
to the wetland boundary.
they are, so this, if I have to give you a rough idea here, 1 inch equals 60 feet, so that maybe 30 feet, 25, 30 feet away here. There's different locations that were with to make the grade work and everything. We can, what I'll do, actually makes sense, is Critter probably want to see the basins, so I'll try to get the limit of work around the basins.
Yeah, I mean, the more we can see, I think they got here, I mean, paper is one thing I see, because.
Yeah, I'll give you a feel for it, and these are, again, it's a great point, these are the closest.
And the reason I'm asking that is there's a previous project that I've been involved with, and one of the things that came up where we did a 25-foot limit of work line from the edge of the wetland. I think I did, and some other people felt that was pretty close, and we should be trying to keep that to a 50-foot limit of work line as opposed to 25. And the other thing that we talked about when we were out looking at this, we were there, it was obviously the middle of winter. But one of the things that we were asking about is there any, land out there that might be subject to flooding? I know none really came up on the map. And so that would be something I would recommend to the commission to look at it a little bit later in April, where you have more rainfall and can see something like that. Because it was difficult to see a lot of things, but Heather did do some soil samples for us and that sort of thing when we were out approving the delineation last winter. I think it was last winter, right? Yeah, maybe it was 2. Yeah.
Well, that was a while back.
Time
Isolated lands of flooding, I'm not aware of anything that needs a 1/4 acre foot. We can certainly look while we're out there if there's any isolation. I think with the veg being down right now, should be able to see things pretty good.
Does that show up after a length of time? Like, for instance, this, when you said yes, winter and spring, we've got some tremendous water in here in 3 or 4 storms that went bang, bang, bang. And I think it was the buckets that I fell. And because I've had my 2 walks through I was standing in the windows as second floor, and I'm looking to see if I could see any type of water or anything. And I didn't see anything. I was, well, that's strange.
I can answer it through the chair if that's okay. I'll answer that.
And then my neighbor across, there's 2 houses, and they seem to get collect a lot of water when it's frozen, and then it's nothing. We were really surprised that that I thought was social. It came 3 in a row. It rained and rain's been like this, so.
So through the chair, we're happy to look at the undulations. So we'll take a good look. I didn't do the sidewalk. Heather had kind of handled that at that point. We kind of picked up. So I'll ask her if she remembers seeing anything. But to this goes to response. Generally, there's very specific performance standards that need to be met.
Yeah, no, I'm
So-
aware of that.
So puddles and stuff, late winter puddles aren't going to be the criteria, but
Yeah.
but if there were certain criteria met, we would be looking at that. So, but again, I believe that all resource area boundaries have been determined back with the ORAD. So I think generally that ship has sailed, but we certainly don't want to cause a problem with something that's out there that we didn't see. Fair enough. So, Mr. Chairman, sounds like we were on for the 19th at 8 o'clock. Yeah.
So will the public hearing be opened again at the next meeting?
Yes, it would be.
I'm gonna make a motion to continue.
Thank you.
What date would that be?
Thank
The
you.
23rd.
You can educate them.
motion to continue with the public hearing until the March 23rd meeting after our site visit on the 19th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is request for determination of applicability, case RDA 2022-2. Request for determination of applicability for lot 34, 35, 36, 37, 44, 45, 46 of Angel Street and lots 48 and 49 of Phillips Street. Applicant Charles William McKinley, Arnett, 7 Angel Street in Cumberland, Mass. 0102.
So we have anybody here.
Others are on.
Heather's gonna be on the Zoom meeting.
You gonna bring her in?
Yeah, I would call them.
Fine, thank you.
Thank
She's there.
So, why don't you want to, so she can hear me. So Heather, can you run through this with us, please?
Sure. Okay, so.
Yeah.
We filed a request for determination for, Kimberly, Charlie, and William Arnett. There are 9 lots. At this time, there is no work proposed. We just flagged the, resource areas. There are 9 lots on 2 paper streets, Angel Street and Phyllis Street. And let's see. The resource areas on the site are bordering vegetated wetland. Let's see. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yes.
The purple lines are the outline of the 9 lots. The green is bordering vegetated wetland and isolated wetland. And the orange, the solid orange line is the mean annual high water line of Schneelach Brook. The 200-foot riverfront area comes out to here. Of the resource areas, this one right here, it's delineated as V1 through V14. That's an isolated wetland. And then we've got W1 through W35 is a bordering vegetated wetland, and Y1 through Y6 is a bordering vegetated wetland, and a little bit of a bordering vegetated wetland or bank that is along Schneelach Brook. The majority of the site is fairly flat with minor relief along the wetland areas and along Schneelach Brook. The brook was very well defined. It does not fall within priority or estimated habitat or within flood zone.
Okay, so obviously you guys are looking for a request for determination of applicability. So I'm assuming you're going to move forward with a notice of intent at some point in the future?
Yes.
Okay. You want to open to the public real quick? Because we have somebody here. All right, so I'll open it up to the public if anybody wants to speak. At this point, it's just a request of determination of applicability just kind of gets the ball rolling. We take input and then they'll have to file a notice of intent. We'll go before us, go to the state, we'll get a DEP number, and then this will get continued more extensively after this point. So is there anybody like to speak or any thoughts, comments?
The main thing that I was wondering was what's gonna happen with the water table for the houses that are close by.
All right, so right now, we haven't got to that point. Basically, what they're proposing, we want to see if that falls underneath our jurisdiction, which obviously I think we can safely say that it does. So we'll make a motion to move with the RDA, and then they'll do more research, spend more time, and they'll submit more paperwork, and then we'll have another hearing. And then, if you certainly want to ask that question, we'll have more information to present at that time. So all the abutters will get notices, and you'll certainly, be able to come here and express your, ask your questions.
Okay.
All right.
The meetings will be in person.
Yep, the meeting will be in person. We don't have that information right now. So once they submit to what's called a notice of intent, then we'll send notice to the abutters, and then we'll schedule a meeting. And then you're absolutely, welcome to come back and share with your thoughts with us.
Okay.
All right. So that's all we have for tonight. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Craig, anything? Do you want to speak anything? No. Any of the board members?
No, come on, son.
All right. So I'm not 100%.
Would you just mind if you sign in on the sheet before you go?
Sure.
Thank you. So you just got the 3 requests were, is it accurately delineated? Is it jurisdictional for the bylaws, and is it jurisdictional to the Wetlands Protection Act?
So we'll say yes to all 3.
Mhm.
Specifically, what we're looking for is a +1 and a +2A.
Okay. What was the third one?
Right.
I don't remember the exact order of them. It was, are the boundaries accurately delineated? I think that's actually 3. And then is it jurisdictional to town bylaws? General bylaw 10.01.2. And then, right in front.
All right. So you're looking for 1, 2, and 2A?
Yes.
All right.
Yep, +1 says that the area is subject to the Wetland Protection Act, and that if we wanted to work within that area, we'd have to file a notice of intent, and +2A approves the delineations.
Okay.
I don't have that ready to sign tonight.
Okay.
So if you'd like, I can have it ratified at the next meeting, or if you want to make a motion to authorize me to sign it. Whatever.
All right. Well, so I think we can make a, obviously we can get to the RDA and then maybe authorize. So I hear a motion to approve the RDA for 1 and 2A in a positive way.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor? Aye. Do I have a motion to allow Nina to sign?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Heather, thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry that wasn't working out too well.
That's all right. We got to figure it out.
Yep,
All right.
thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Okay. All right.
Take care, everybody. Good seeing you.
Take care.
Alright, so now we need to,
So do we?
extension permits.
Strange.
They should be quick.
Strange.
Do you want to take read if he's here?
Oh, we can, we have to make a motion to take
Water
that.
around right there, so if I was
All right, still have I'm sorry, I'm just.
Yeah, she's been doing it for 35 years. Is her name on the list for you to buy? My God. Where's that map? Yeah, she,
So should be
Jane or
extension.
something.
Okay, fine.
I'm glad it's a sump pump.
When they're ready.
I'm still in the wetlands.
Should here or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
Or should right here.
I'm just gonna read all 5 at once.
Oh, that's right, it's the paper street, Phyllis. Paper Street Road.
That's right.
So extension permits, I'm actually gonna read 5 of these together at once, if that's okay with the board. We're all fixing, we're all putting comments. Case EP 2022-1, request for extension permit for order of conditions, Mass DEP file number 150-0440 at lot 16 Hidden Ponds Drive, assessors parcel ID 23-77-16, applicant Redstone Ponds LLC, PO Box 79, East Long Meadow, Mass. 01028. Case EP 2022-2. Request for extension permit for order of conditions, Mass DEP file number 150-0442 at lot 18 Redstone Drive. Assessors parcel ID 23-77-18. Applicant Redstone Pond LLC, PO Box 79, East Long Meadow, Mass. 01028. Case EP 2022-3. Request for extension permit for order of conditions, Mass DEP file number 150-0445 at lots 12, 13, 14, and 15 Hidden Palms Drive. Assessors parcel IDs 23-77-12, 13, 14, and 15. Applicant Redstone Ponds LLC, PO Box 79, East Long Meadow, Mass. 01028. Case EP 2022-4, request for extension permit for order of conditions, Mass DEP file number 150-0446 at lots 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11 Hidden Palms Drive. Assessors parcel IDs 23-77-4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11. Applicant Redstone Ponds LLC, PO Box 79, East Long Meadow, Mass. 01028. And case EP 2022-5, request for extension permit for order of conditions, Mass DEP file number 150-0447 at lot 2, Hidden Ponds Drive. Assessors parcel ID 23-77-2. Applicant Redstone Ponds LLC, PO Box 79, East Long Meadow, Mass.
Stumble over my words. I don't have any input on extending these permits. So I'll make a motion to approve the extension of the permits that were read out.
Second.
All those in favor?
Do you want to sign those next meeting or can I sign those as well?
I'll make a motion to let Nina sign for us all.
Second. Or so moved, sorry.
Second.
Yeah, you were doing so good. You got anxious on us. The next one is Project Monitor 383 Porter Road. I believe there's someone in attendance to speak with us about that. Don, could we please bring them in?
Too, so I'm not sure which one.
His name.
Tim Carlin.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, it's funny, waiting for this.
So back to the one that already had the wrong has both though.
Maybe.
Well,
Hey, Tim, how are you?
Can you hear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
What's up?
I think we're here to discuss, I'm sure you received the fine sent to you from the board in regards to the work at your house.
Okay.
So what?
What's the question? Am I basement anymore? No, for the first time in 16 years.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah. So I dug a drain around my foundation. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Because when I bought the house 16 years ago, they used to trudge out the side of my house. And obviously there's no rep. So owning the house for 15 years, I've had to do the basement a times at 10 to 20 feet up. So I dug a drain in my yard and I put some rocks in it. And guess what, guys? No more water.
I think the issue with the commission lies in the fact that you didn't ask about working in the resource areas and then bringing the pipe to the brook and dumping it into the brook. I know that there was an outstanding issue in the past that we've also had, but this is the one that we're focused on now. And I think we need to make it right. I think that our question lies in, you dug right to the brook and into the brook, my friend.
No.
Anyone?
What happened to him, Pete?
I just beg to differ with you, Tim, because driving by on Porter Road, you could see where you dug right to the brook.
I dug to the low point of that yard by the brook side. It's way far from the brook. I put a drain or a pump in it, some pump type thing in case I ever need it. So yeah, I'm nowhere near the brook and nothing.
So where does it discharge?
Into the ground.
It discharges into the ground.
That's full shit.
So it discharges into the ground that's saturated, that was flooding the basement with no issues?
I have not had any issues since I dug it. No.
We should. So you're basically pumping the water right back into the ground.
Yeah, so I have some pump in my basement.
Right?
That side is the south side. That's always no rivers flood. The side has some marsh or I don't know what it is. Fudge it out when I first bought the house. Had I not dug a drain around all that water, everything comes into my basement from my pipe. Again, I've replaced the basement 4 to 5 times.
And the basement is not the concern, and I can understand your frustration with the flooding of the basement. Would it be possible to meet you on site to observe where this pipe is and everything?
What are we gonna observe? It goes from the sump pump and down into it goes hole in the ground.
Well, we should be able to see it then, right?
I don't know if there's anything to see anymore. Get into the water. No water anywhere.
Water's got to discharge somewhere.
It has to go somewhere, Tim. It doesn't just disperse in the ground. It would fail very quickly.
I can show you how to do it, I guess.
So are you opposed to us having an on-site meeting with you on the morning of March 19th to look at what's going on here?
I work on Saturdays, but I can do it.
I'm sorry, it cut out there for a second. Does that work, yes or no?
You started birthday Saturday, so no, that date doesn't. I prefer to meet you on the week, not a Saturday.
Okay, what day and time for you, Tim?
I mean, obviously, there's more of you than me. Give me a calendar.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that once again. Does anyone on the board have a time or day that works for them? I could do Mondays and Tuesdays are generally easier for me.
That's fine with me.
I have his email phone number if you want that to schedule it easier.
We could do that too.
Tim, what we'll do is we're gonna email you a few dates and times. You just please let us know what works for you and we'll make it work.
Oh, good.
All right, thank you, sir. Did you say? No, wait. To other business policies and procedures. Does anyone have anything?
I just have 2 things that came up at the office. The first is a resident at 28 Winding Brook Lane. He has dead and dying trees between his house and the wetlands that are at a risk of falling on the house, and he just wants a verbal permission to be able to take them down.
I think we've learned our lesson on this in the past and we need to go look at them.
Okay, do you wanna?
So if he would like to, once again, just give us some dates and times.
Okay.
And one of us could,
Gotcha.
one or two of us could even just swing by and take a look at it with him. I don't think it takes the whole board,
Yeah.
but we've been burned on that about.
Do you want me to give you his phone number, or do you want me to give him?
You could give him, my phone number's fine, and I don't know who else. I'm available with that as well. Yeah, that's fine. If he comes in contact with me, I can shoot a text out to everybody.
Okay.
At least he's calling and asking. Some people just don't even do that. So,
Yeah.
you know.
That's gonna be a fun one. I don't want to miss it.
The second one was we've been having some calls from residents of Enfield who are concerned about the work at a lot at the end of Deer Park Drive. From what I've seen, that clearing of land was approved in 2018. There was a silt fence installed. Everything's in compliance. The trees are now being logged.
So we cleared the land in 2018 when we bought it and put it all in a big pile. And I hired Rocky Mountain to come in
over the past week, and he chipped the whole pile. So we didn't take anything down, and we're not even to the power lines. So it's everything that's been in that pile for 5 years. It's now gone. We actually cleaned up.
There's, yes. They made a complaint to the DEP that there was active clearing on the site, but it's come to his attention that there's no active clearing. Everything's.
I've actually already spoken with DEP about it, and I've already talked to OTO, which is doing my environmental and the work for my permitting through DEP. So it should be all resolved. That is coming from south of the line where they're putting that building. So I know they've had DEP or DPW complaints to Daryl about anyone working on the railroad. Yeah, they've been calling, right, they've been calling East Long Meadow for work being done on the railroad in Enfield. They called our DPW over that.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's our DP is aware. I've already made them aware of it. So they're all good.
Yeah, he called me today. I'm good.
As far as 383 Porter Road, I'll make any day or time work to go to that one.
Yeah, for the most part, I'm local. I can pretty much make anything work.
I think if we could do like, and the sun's setting later, so we could even do 5 o'clock or, I mean, it's closer to 6 after this weekend. So why don't we see what day next week besides Wednesday I can't do because my son has hockey evaluations. I can pretty much do any other time.
If you want me to email him, ask for times.
No, I think we should propose times. Do you want to do like next Thursday or Friday?
Sure.
At 36 o'clock? Sure. That works. Why don't you propose next Thursday and Friday? That'll be right before. We have one more week before the next meeting, huh?
Yeah, at least we can go out there and get.
But I think we should go out there and do this because I think that this may be another one of those cases where we're going to ask for something.
Well, I saw the pipe and I know where it's a white PVC and it goes right in there.
Right. So let's do that. If you could do that, I think, I don't know what.
Thursday, St. Patrick's Day.
So it's the weekend before our next meeting again. Friday's my birthday.
Oh, cool.
Texas Roadhouse.
All right. I will make a motion to adjourn. So
Second.
all those in favor.